The sun was sitting low over the hills when I first realized the land was changing. Not just the land itself, the fences, the wind, the river running dry, but the spirit of it. You could feel it if you'd been out here long enough. If your bones had soaked up enough dust to tell when something was dying. That evening, I leaned on the old wooden rail that ran along the east pasture. The boards were grey and cracked, same as my hands. I'd built that fence with my father when I was just a boy. He said a man's worth was measured not by how much land he owned, but by how well he kept it. And now, 40 years later, I was watching it fall apart in front of me. Cattle grazed lazy in the amber light. The air smelled of hay, smoke, and memories I wished I could forget. My horse Dusty stood beside me, head low, tail swishing against the flies. He was the last one left from the old herd. The others were gone, sold, dead, or lost to time. I reached out, scratched his neck, and muttered, "Well, boy, looks like it's just you and me again." Dusty nickered soft like he understood. That's the thing about animals. They don't talk back, but they listen better than most folks. It had been 6 months since she left. Clara. Her name still echoed through the barn sometimes, carried by the wind, like it was too stubborn to leave. She was the kind of woman who could look at a storm and tell if it'd break good or bad. Born in town, but never belonged there. Said the smell of whiskey and smoke made her sick. She came out here once with her father, a trader from the north, and never went back. We built this ranch together, brick by brick, heartbeat by heartbeat. And then the fever came. Took her in 3 days. After that, nothing ever felt right again. When you lose someone like Clara, the world don't stop spinning. It just spins meaner. I tried to keep the ranch running, but every morning I'd wake to that empty chair by the stove. That cold cup she never finished. That dress hanging by the window like she might still wear it someday. I buried myself in work, fixed the barn roof, patched the fences, mended the saddles. Work's the only thing that don't argue back. But lately the work had been fighting me too. The creek had gone dry, no rain in months. The grass was turning to straw, and the bank out of Santa Rosa was threatening to take the land if I couldn't pay up by winter. That's when he showed up. A rider appeared one morning, cutting through the fog like a shadow with a purpose. Tall hat, long coat, silver badge on his chest. Sheriff's man. He pulled up slow, dust rising from the trail, horse breathing heavy. "Morning, rancher," he said, voice flat as a shovel edge. "You Mason Hale?" "That's me," I answered. He handed me a folded letter. "From the county. Ain't my business to read it, but I'd open it soon if I were you." I knew what it was before I even opened it. Foreclosure notice. They were taking it. I didn't open it right away. Instead, I went to the barn, sat on the hay bale, where Clara used to read to me when the nights were long. I stared at that envelope like it was a rattlesnake. Finally, I tore it open, and there it was, ink colder than steel. They were repossessing the ranch, my father's land, my land, Clara's land. "Wait," I whispered to myself, voice shaken. "We're taking it off?" That line was stamped right there at the bottom. Property rights to be taken off owner's records. The words blurred. My vision swam. All those years, gone with the signature. I felt my chest tighten. My hands trembled. And for the first time in a long while, I felt utterly drained. I must have sat there for hours, staring at the dirt. By the time I came to, the light had turned gold again. Same time of day, Clara died. The wind started up, whispering through the barn boards. It almost sounded like her voice. "Mason," it said, faint and hollow. I shook my head. "No, Clara, not now. I can't fight what's coming." But the wind kept whispering. That's when I saw it. The old chest she'd carved our initials into, sitting under a tarp in the corner. I hadn't opened it since the funeral. I walked over, pulled off the tarp, and opened the lid. Inside were letters, photos, and a small leather-bound journal, hers. The first page was dated June 4th, 1882. Her handwriting danced across the page like sunlight on water. "If the land ever feels like it's dying, Mason, don't you give up on it. The ranch breathes when you do. And if you ever think you're alone, remember the wind only blows because it has something left to move." I closed the book and felt my throat burn. That was Clara always finding life where no one else could. I stood, wiped my eyes, and looked out at the horizon. The sun was bleedin' red now, like the sky itself was fightin' to hold on. "All right," I muttered. "You win, Clara. I ain't given up yet." That night I saddled Dusty and rode out to the North Ridge. That's where the fence was weakest, the one my father warned me about before he passed. "Never let the North Line fall," he said. "If the fence breaks, the world comes in. And I'll be damned if it wasn't already half gone. Wood cracked, wire sagging. But I started working anyway. Hammerin', pullin', sweatin' under the moonlight like a man fightin' against the Reaper himself. Every nail I drove felt like I was rebuilding something inside me, too. Then from behind the ridge, I heard it. Hoofbeats slow, deliberate. I turned. A figure emerged from the dark. Not the sheriff this time. Not a ranch hand either. This one was dressed in black wide hat shadowing his face. He stopped a few feet away, and the smell of gun oil filled the air. "You Mason Hale?" I nodded. He smiled, slow and cruel. "Good. Then you got something that belongs to me." And just like that, the night turned heavy as a coffin lid.